On the News Express, Tinubu congratulates Dangote on Senegal's National Order of the Lion Award. Federal government bars states from collecting mining royalties. NUJ hails Benin for establishing 140 healthcare centers. DSS calls for violence-free rerun by elections. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The federal government has warned states and local governments to steer clear of the collection of royalties and taxes from licensed miners operating in their domains. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, who gave the warning in Kaduna, also stated that miners and operators owe the federal government more than 2 trillion naira, calling on them to pay the debt. Dele said operators must pay on a monthly basis royalties and taxes to the federal government, adding that the administration of President Bola Tinubu was determined to halt the activities of illegal miners across the country. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Aliko Dangote, President and Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Group, on the award of the National Order of the Lion by President Macky Sall of Senegal. The president, in a statement by his spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, applauded the industrialist for his enterprise and ingenuity, creating jobs and opportunities for many in Nigeria and across West Africa, as well as contributing to their economies. President Tinubu also wished him the very best in his endeavors. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, has ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, airspaces, and other forms of transportation from 12 midnight to 6 p.m. in the 26 states where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will be holding by-elections tomorrow. This was as he warned troublemakers to stay away from the exercise. The IG said the restriction order would not affect persons on essential duties such as INEC officials, electoral observers, accredited journalists, and observers both foreign and domestic. In the meantime, all is set for tomorrow's by-election into the Senate House of Representatives and House of Assembly seats across 26 states. Already, sensitive materials have been distributed to the affected polling districts and constituencies by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. However, the Commission said the People's Democratic Party, PDP, will not participate in the election in Plateau North Senatorial District and Jos North Basse Federal Constituency based on the judgment of the Court of Appeal. The court had nullified the victory of PDP House of Assembly members in the state following the party's failure to conduct its congresses according to laid down rules. The Department of State Services, DSS, wishes to call on the electorate and participating political parties in the 3rd February 2024 rerun and by-elections to be of good conduct during and after the exercises in the affected states. In this regard, the service tasks the contending parties to shun all acts culpable of causing a breakdown of law and order. Also, politicians and their supporters must strive to adhere to the Electoral Act and procedure. Beyond elections, the DSS enjoins citizens to be patriotic and loyal to the Nigerian nation. Public commentators, social critics, and key players in the public space should consider the peace of the country over and above their personal or group interests. In a recent development, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokpobiri, has confirmed that negotiations are on to finally end the dispute surrounding OML 245 for the block to resume production in the national interest. Lokpobiri disclosed this in Abuja as he revealed that parties in the deal are currently negotiating to end the over 28 years crisis and litigation surrounding the prolific oil block in the next 1 month. Kike Lamo Kere has details.
In the light of recent discussion and misconception surrounding the resolution of issues surrounding OML 245, the Minister of State for Petroleum has offered clarity and dispel any misinformation that might have risen. It says the OML 245 is a significant oil block within the nation's territory, which has been subject to various litigation and discussions across different jurisdictions. It says the core issue resolved around the agreement between the federal government, Shell and ENI, wherein the federal government facilitated the transfer of rights from Malabo to Shell ENI in exchange for consideration. This process was conducted transparently in accordance with established legal frameworks.
And this block has been like that.
The minister reveals that throughout the legal proceedings, there has been no evidence indicating any criminal liability on the part of the federal government or any involved parties. All legal battles across multiple courts have concluded with outcome affirming the absence of criminal wrongdoing.
And so when they say I mounted pressure, I didn't mount pressure on anybody, but it is important that we resolve the problem. What is the problem among the parties about OML 245? We took ENI and other people, including Malabo and others, to courts in different countries. Like I said earlier, in Canada, in Milan, in the UK, in Switzerland. We lost all because there's no evidence to prove any case of corruption. And this block has been like that for the past 28 years. All of us, I'm sure, graduated before we were 28. So how can you have one block that could actually change the life of Nigerians? A very prolific block. That has been tied down for 28 years. What are the issues? Even if we continue with all the cases, the ones you had, he had no evidence. And so he lost all. And all these things happened within the last administration. And if you guys get hold of, the book written by Malami, he himself said we were wrong. The idea of taking these things to different courts was wrong, but there's no evidence. Even the ones here, no evidence. So what we're trying to do is to see how we can discuss, resolve all the issues, so that all matters could be resolved, so that we can get the investment in Nigeria.
On the complexity surrounding the OML 245, the minister says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has demonstrated astute leadership by directing efforts towards resolving the lingering issue. Meetings and discussions have been convened with stakeholders from various countries, including Netherlands, the UK, and Milan, to explore avenues for an amicable resolution. With just a 5% reserve investment ratio in the oil sector, which is the lowest globally in the last 5 years, the minister says there is an urgent need to boost the investment in the sector to avert an imminent economic crisis.
If you go to Brazil, it's 115%. If you go to Mozambique in Africa, it's 92%. If you go to Angola, it's 46%. If you come to Nigeria, 5%. If we do not do whatever we can to attract investments, the crude oil deficit we have here will be a souvenir not seen by you and I, that will translate to nothing in the next few years. And so my responsibility is to ensure that we do whatever we can, resolve whatever problems we have in the industry, so that we can attract sufficient investment to change the narrative. If we resolve the issues around OML 245, it will attract investment between $5 to $10 billion. It will change the story. So anytime somebody wants to invest, when we go for canvas, when we go to canvas for investment, people will say, oh, Nigeria is not attracting investment. This is psychology.
It further stressed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's interest lies on the transformation of the vast natural resources into prosperity for the nation. It therefore urged citizens to remain patriotic and continue to build faith in the renewed Hope administration, as the President has supported the resolution of all issues around OML 245. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has commended Governor Mai Bala Buni of Yobe for establishing 140 primary healthcare centers across the state. The NUJ chairman, Yobe State Council Rajab Mohammed Ismail, gave the commendation while briefing newsmen in Damaturu after a media tour across the state. He said the tour afforded NUJ members the opportunity to see the efforts of the state and local government councils towards improving the lives of the people in health, education, infrastructure, and job creation. He said the 140 primary healthcare centers established by Buni's administration have brought effective and efficient healthcare services to the people, particularly those at the grassroots. Now, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pati, has expressed the federal government's commitment to promoting a life-saving initiative intended to improve quality maternal health outcomes. The minister, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja, said based on the 2020 World Health Organization's antenatal care for positive pregnancy experience, the federal government has adopted the use of multiple micronutrient supplements, also called MMS, during pregnancy to improve maternal health. The minister said the inclusion of MMS for pregnant women in the national guidelines for the prevention and control of micronutrient deficiencies control in Nigeria is geared towards improving pregnancy outcomes compared to iron folic acid supplementation. Now, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, has said it is set to provide the needed technical support and policy framework that would help address poverty and revamp the social protection system in Abia State. The intervention is in collaboration with the European Union and the International Labour Organization, ILO. UNICEF expressed concern over the growing poverty rate in Nigeria, stressing the need for homegrown solution in addressing the menace. Moving on, the Anambra State government has banned the public display of caskets for fabrication and sale in the state. This was contained in the law passed by the State House Assembly to control burial and funeral activities in the state. By implication, all mortuary attendants are to report to the Ministry of Health on any corpse that has stayed beyond 1 month from the date it was deposited. It warned that any person who contravenes the provisions will be fined 100,000 naira or 6 months imprisonment or both. After a prolonged land dispute, which lasted 10 years, Governor Seyi Makinde-led administration has ordered the reopening of 23 schools in 4 local government areas of Oyo State. The reopening of the schools followed an intervention by the Deputy Governor of the state, Bayo Lawal. The affected local government areas are Atiba, Fijio, Oyo East, and Oyo West local government areas of the state. The Deputy Governor equally stated that the Ministry of Education will oversee the schools upon reopening. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has revealed that the EFCC is investigating the former minister and his predecessor, Hadi Sirika, over the controversial Nigeria Air deal. Keyamo said no local airline will be designated as a national airline, stressing that it would establish a proper national career. Last August, shortly after he was sworn in as minister, Keyamo faulted the deal by Sirika and suspended the entire arrangement to enable a proper audit of contracts. The controversy surrounding the establishment of Nigeria's national career, Nigeria Air, had forced veteran aviator Gemrau Wake to resign as chairman of Ethiopian Airlines. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, federal government raises exchange rate for cargo clearance to 1,356 naira to the dollar. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. And if you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. Now on the foreign scene, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak's 12-year jail sentence for corruption has been halved by the country's Pardons Board. Najib was jailed in 2022 over the embezzlement of Malaysia's state-owned wealth fund, One Malaysia Development Berhad. The board also reduced the fine imposed on him to 50 million ringgit from the original 210 million ringgit. Najib must pay this in full to secure his release in August 2028. If he fails to pay, his sentence will be extended for another year until 2029. He was convicted in 2020 after spending 2 years appealing his conviction before the court. Now, all 27 European leaders have agreed to a 50 billion euro aid package for Ukraine. European Council President Charles Michel adding that the agreement locks in steadfast, long-term, predictable funding for Ukraine. There had been fears that Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban would block the aid package as he had done already at the European Summit last December. Orban had said he wanted to force a rethink of EU policy towards Ukraine and questioned the idea of committing to fund Ukraine for the next 4 years. Now to the business desk, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has stated that the mechanical completion of the Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company is scheduled for completion in the first quarter of this year. WRPC, located in Warri, Delta State and established in 1978, is one of Nigeria's 3 refineries under the management of NNPCL. The other 2 include the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Rivers State and the Kaduna Refining Petrochemical Company in Kaduna State. Rehabilitation work is also ongoing at both facilities. The Nigerian government has attributed the main cause of poor power supply in the country to the low supply of gas to generating companies, GENCOS. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, disclosed this in a statement posted on his X handle today. The minister said he visited facilities in Olorunshogo, Ogun State, and Omotosho, Ondo State, to understand the challenges firsthand, while noting that resolving the gas supply issue is a top priority. To tackle the gas supply and liquidity challenges, Adelabu said he has decided to form a committee involving all stakeholders. Now, the federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, has raised the exchange rate for cargo clearance from 952 naira to a dollar to 1.356 naira per dollar. This is coming weeks after the rate was increased from 783 naira to a dollar to 952 naira to a dollar in November. The exchange rate for cargo clearance was raised from 757 naira per dollar to 783 naira per dollar, representing a 3.4% increase, and was later raised from 783 to a dollar to 952 naira to a dollar in December. The Gombe State government planned to raise 30 billion naira green bond in advancing its economy. The executive governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Yahya, urged investors to invest in the state's agriculture and infrastructure development. Yahya stated this at the closing gong ceremony by Gombe State, who is exploring how the state can harness the capital markets through green bonds to stimulate sustainable development, held at Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, Lagos. He added that the capital market is the ideal place for any investor, government, public or private sector to pool funds for development. The Senate, through its Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, summoned the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, to appear before it on Tuesday next week on state of economy and free flow of Naira at the Forex market. The committee, chaired by Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, APC Lagos East, hurriedly met on the basis when Naira plummeted to 1,520 naira to a US dollar, and resolved to summon the CBN governor on way out. Kike Lomo Okeri tells us more.
Speaking with journalists after the hurried meeting held behind closed doors, Senator Abiru says the state of the economy, especially the inflation index, is of great concern to the lawmakers. Senator Abiru added that they have deliberated among themselves and critical issues has been addressed, and they believe that the next line of action is to summon the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria on Tuesday at 3 o'clock to brief the Senate properly on the state of the economy. He added that they have resolved and will communicate to the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, after which they will have further communication with the member of the press.
Lining the major issue of the economy is the way the inflation index has been, and of course, it's of major concern to us. Now, we have deliberated amongst ourselves, the critical issues were addressed, and we believe that the next line of action is to bring in someone, the governor of Central Bank, on Tuesday at 3 o'clock to come and brief us properly on the state of the economy. That we have resolved, and we will communicate to the governor of the Central Bank, after which we now have a further conversation with members of the press.
Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Now in sports, ahead of the crucial AFCON 2023 quarter-final match against Palancas Negras of Angola, Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owen Eno, has sent a heartfelt message to the Super Eagles, asking the coach, Jose Pesero, led to consolidate on their round of 16 victory. Senator Eno's succinct letter in message authored by his media aide, PSS, has called for violence-free rerun and by-elections. And that's it on the News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're in Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching, and see you again.